Hello YouTubers out there, this is Jerry Sutterby at the Movies. Now, I haven't talked about Star Wars in a long time, primarily because there are a lot of people out there who are way too passionate about Star Wars, to the point that it is absolutely absurd and ridiculous. And I'm not one of those people that disliked The Last Jedi. So I thought I'd talk about this real quick and then just let it go until the movie comes out, which of course we're talking about Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. J.J. Abrams is directing and taking over after Rian Johnson supposedly butchered The Last Jedi. Now, there may be people that I've spoken to who liked The Last Jedi a lot. Some consider it the best, some consider it the worst Star Wars movie. I don't know who these people are. I'm 47 years old, so I saw the original trilogy in theaters, and I fell out of favor with Star Wars after I saw Return of the Jedi. That's just me, of course. Now, but let's get back to The Rise of Skywalker. By the way, Return of Jedi it's an okay movie, but it doesn't measure up to the first two. But I don't have a huge issue with the prequel trilogy. I am not one of those people that says, oh, this ruined my childhood, etc. So, let's leave that aside and say that I do like this new trilogy a lot. So, The Rise of Skywalker, I'm looking forward to. Now, I'm not a completist in terms of Star Wars because I still haven't seen Solo, which I plan to at some point, although I have reservations about it, but only because of the casting and just the very idea of it. Without Harrison Ford, I don't know, it's strange. Nonetheless, I still haven't seen Rogue One either, but I plan to. And at some point I will review them and discuss them on here. Hopefully before The Rise of Skywalker comes out in December. So this is April 27th, and I saw the Rise of Skywalker trailer a couple of weeks ago now, like just about every Star Wars fan, and I thought it was quite enjoyable. However, I must say I do have an issue, and that is the Return of the Emperor. What is this? Now, at first, I gotta say, I thought maybe that was Snoke. That was sort of the feeling I had at first. I thought, oh, Snoke is coming back? Because that's a better idea than bringing back the Emperor. Because after all, the Emperor was destroyed. I mean, he was killed. He's gone. That's what happened at the end of the Return of Jedi. This was Darth Vader's redemption, saving his son, Luke Skywalker, from the Emperor. And he throws him down that shaft, and it's a brilliant burst of blue light, and it's over. But then you watch the Rise of Skywalker teaser trailer, and you hear the Emperor's voice. So then I thought, well, it's probably Snoke. But then it turns out Ian McDiarmid, who played the Emperor and Palpatine in the prequel trilogy, basically it's the same character. Palpatine becomes the Emperor, as we all know. So he confirmed it, and it's true, it's happening. Why? Why bring back the Emperor? Why not bring back Snoke? If somebody resurrected Snoke, I could almost believe it. But he was cut in half on the other hand. Darth Maul was also cut in half, and I thought he was dead. And he came back, and I'm sure some of you know better than I do because I've never really watched the Clone Wars series, but apparently he came back in that, and he appears, spoiler alert, so this is only because I read it, so I can't help but know this, he appears at the end of Solo, a Star Wars story. So, well, okay, based on that, you could have brought back Snoke, because he was cut in half, but that's not the case, as far as we know. But it is the Emperor, so why the Emperor? I don't know. I mean, this to me just makes no sense whatsoever. None. But I'll go with it and see what they do. Now, this could be the case of a flashback. It's possible. It's been rumored that Harrison Ford will return as Han Solo. Of course, we know he's gone, but as in a flashback sequence. This is just a rumor. So this could be the case with the Emperor, but the question is, If that's the case, that's acceptable, because what most Star Wars fans don't bring up is that The Last Jedi was the first Star Wars movie to ever have a flashback sequence. First one. So, there's that likelihood. But that almost sounds like a stroke of desperation on the part of the people responsible for this movie. It's one thing to bring back Lando Calrissian, and that's welcomed. Absolutely. But bringing back the Emperor, can't really get behind that 100%, unless, of course, it's a flashback sequence. Because so if you bring him back and he's a Force ghost, which I imagine would be the case, why? Now, it could be that Kylo Ren, who has an obsession with Darth Vader, as we know from The Force Awakens, might actually resurrect him, but I don't know. Of course, there are a couple of things that happened in The Last Jedi that were new ideas in terms of how the Force works. I won't get into them, but it certainly involved Leia. But I was a bigger Star Wars fan back in 1980. That's just the way it was. It was huge. After Empire Strikes Back, I was devoted. I was part of the Star Wars newsletter and all this stuff. I knew a lot of Star Wars minutiae. I used to have the trading cards. I had all the toys. I was 8, 9 years old. So there's a lot of history. Star Wars has been a significant part of my life, but it doesn't guide my life. I don't use it as a pretext to whatever I do in my own life. I'm a bigger Indiana Jones fan than I am Star Wars. But at the same time, So I reviewed these movies, and Force Awakens was just real exciting, and I loved what they did with The Last Jedi. But I don't really feel that I have to review it based on the original trilogy. However, bringing back the Emperor just doesn't seem right to me. But what do the rest of you think? I don't know. Could it be a flashback sequence? Who knows? I guess we'll find out in December. But probably before that. I don't know. This is really the first time that I thought, this doesn't seem right. But we'll see. I like J.J. Abrams. I like his movies. So we'll see what happens. Until then, this is Jerry Sadovia at the Movies, signing off.